person is connecting audio. We're live.
Mayor,
We are going live.
okay. Give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no.
We are live.
Hey everybody, it's John Hope Bryant, and we're gonna have a really exciting session today. We are ultimately broadcasting around the world. We have just under 2 million followers here in the U.S. and Africa and Europe and even Latin America, a little bit in Asia. But this is a really powerful hometown story. I'm honored to really formally introduce Nikki, who's going to guide us, and then we're going to have some fun. Nikki Barjon has her own firm. She has donated her time to Operation Hope during this pandemic in response to it, COVID-19. She is responsible for many, many brands that she has built. Most personalities that you see in the hip hop space and in the professional sports stage space, she's had some hand in. The one that is close to my heart is T.I. Harris, a really good brother who she's had continues to have an impact on. And now she's having a positive impact on our community through us. Nikki Barjon.
Thank you. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. So I am going to, well, he's already introed me, so you know who I am. So the name of our agency is The Brand Shop. But today, so I should begin by saying that I am a behind the scenes type of girl. I do not come out for anyone except for Mr. Bryant. And now, just moderating today. So this is not something that I would normally do, but for you, I am going to make it a first, and it is a first. Okay, so I just want to start at this time just by starting by formally introducing Mr. John Hope Bryant. And I'll read part of your bio. It's really long, but I'll just start by reading part of your bio, and then I'd like to introduce the mayor next. I will. So named as one of Atlanta's Business Chronicle's most admired CEOs in 2018, American Banker magazine named Mr. Bryant the 2016 Innovator of the Year. He was one of Inc.'s one of the world's 10 top CEOs, honorable mention, and one of Time Magazine's 50 leaders for the future. John Hope Bryant is an American entrepreneur, author, philanthropist, and prominent thought leader on financial inclusion, economic empowerment, and financial dignity. For the past 2 consecutive years, Bryant has been named in the 100 most influential Atlantans, developed by the Atlanta Business Chronicle, that spotlights Atlanta's top business and civic influencers. Operation Hope is acknowledged as one of it's actually number 34 in Atlanta's 75 largest nonprofit organizations and included in the book of lists. He's the founder and chairman and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, as well as the chairman and chief executive officer of Bryant Group Ventures and the Promise Homes Company. Okay, I'm gonna stop with this intro.
Please, thank you.
It's long, and I'm in the business of branding, so this is what I always say. I always say that a brand doesn't have to tell you what it is. And so I will end your intro with that, because one of the things I really just want to say is that a brand walks in the room and you know what it is. They don't have to intro themselves, and they don't have to give you their credentials. And this is a man that I personally have come to know professionally as just someone that walks in the room and instantly you understand who he is. So I will urge you to not necessarily look at his bio or listen to his bio, but watch him work. So I'm honored to work alongside you and support you. And I just want to welcome you today.
Thank you very much. The mayor is a special soul, and maybe Nikki, after I finish what I have to say, you can provide a bit more texture on his, for those who don't know, his credentialed background, the who, the what, the where. People would love to know the credentialed rise, and it is important. He's held other city elected official, elected positions, and all that's really important to being mayor of an important city like Birmingham, Alabama. But I want to just say very quickly how I met him. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because I know I'm messing up Ms. Barjon's flow as a moderator. But this is, when I do things like this is personal to me. First of all, anybody knows me, they used to see me rocking a message t-shirt. Almost typically, no matter who it is. I've done CBS News with Gayle King with the t-shirt on. I've done numerous NBC shows and BET and Fox Soul the other day with a t-shirt on. Yeah, they're message shirts. But out of respect for the mayor, I put on a suit and almost a tie. And the only reason I'm not wearing a tie is he's not. But when I first met the mayor, and this is not about age because I'm actually older than him. It's about respect, and respect has no age. I put on Twitter this morning. It doesn't matter how long you live, but we don't know how long we're gonna live. But we dang sure know we're gonna die. But what are you doing with your years on this planet? How are you living your life? So I met the mayor through a mutual friend. I came through his city, and I offered him some unsolicited advice at the end of that. He was so intense when I met him. He was so intense. That intensity can come from two ways: purpose, or somebody who's got the disease of seriousness, that they take themselves just way too serious. And I didn't know which one it was, and I just met him. But young mayor, lots of attention. I just wanted him to win. So I gave him some advice that I actually believe now he did not need. And I know he doesn't need that now because his story. Rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. And I now know that intensity was passion. It was purpose. It was a single-mindedness of making a difference so that people in the future don't experience the pain of his past. Without getting into too much personal detail, I know that you've gone through in your own personal life, Mr. Mayor, some tragedy. I experienced 3 deaths in my family before I was 9 years old in my environment in Compton, California, South Central LA. And so I know what that feels like. But my guess is that frustration of hope lost early in your life, and probably for no good reason, has fired you to be on purpose. Am I close?
You're spot on.
Yeah. And that purposefulness makes you laser engaged on using the platforms that you have to make a difference. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Then that explains everything about why we're here. And again, I'm gonna defer to Nikki for the formal credentials, but I want you to, everybody watching this, and over the course of the next few weeks, we'll probably get 100,000 plus views of this conversation. And I want everybody watching this who's not familiar with the mayor to follow him, to be engaged with what he's doing. I think that the city has a chance of becoming once again a model city. Birmingham was modeled after a city in England, named after a city in England, was the center of the Industrial Revolution, in one of the centers of the Industrial Revolution in America, certainly the South, and really could have been Atlanta in the sense that if they had not lost their way dealing with racial issues that were colored black and white versus color green, I think, by the way, Dr. King would be very proud and maybe fall off his seat seeing you as mayor now, given what he went through in your great city. But the city had all of the pieces to have the airport and all those things and thriving economy, but for a moment, got distracted. And now I see you focus on qualified opportunity zones. I see you focusing on hope inside the workplace. I see you focus on economic uplift. I see you focus on wellness. I see you bringing a level of vibration and seriousness to the strategic plan of your city, and not just what I call happy talk. And you're speaking to the whole city, not just Black parts of the city, not just young parts of the city. You brought in the whole conversation. So this is a setup for where we're going to go next. But Nikki, why don't we educate our folks on from where the mayor comes?
Absolutely. So for more than 2 months, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin has led a charge of keeping citizens safe and encouraged during the COVID-19 crisis. Several of his initiatives have gained local and national attention, including his push to make loans available for small businesses facing challenges during the pandemic, providing an in-depth stay-at-home guide for families now having to work and learn from home, stressing the importance of wearing face coverings and promoting social distancing. And although this virus is deadly, the mayor didn't let that stop him from remaining connected with his employees in the community. He kept people informed through tele-town halls, phone calls, newsletters, and press conferences. And now he is here with us today. So Mayor, you have obviously been quite busy. So we're happy that you are able to take some time to talk about Operation Hope and just the impact that it's had on the impact that it can make on your employees. So welcome.
Nikki, good morning to you. Thank you for that introduction. John, I think we should just go everywhere together because I'm not sure anybody's ever introduced me like that. So thank you so much. Listen, the city of Birmingham, and personally, knowing what Operation Hope does in the community, what it's done across America and the globe, I'm really happy, genuinely happy for the relationship and the partnership we've established with Operation Hope and the guidance they've given our employees. We have a theme here called putting people first. And that's just not words, it's very intentional. But putting people first also means how we engage our employees and putting them first as well. And so I am responsible for about 3,500 employees, but I'm also responsible for serving and providing services to about 200,000+ residents. Those coincide because so many of our employees are actually residents as well. Yeah. And in a city where we're the 4th blackest city in America, we're in a city where there's 30% poverty, you have to engage financial literacy. You have to do that on purpose. It has to be intentional. You have to do it with a sense of urgency, and it has to have a focus on it where you can measure it, figure out a way to seek help from an organization like Operation Hope, and then provide some relief to your employees. In the situation we're in here in this city, I think every day it's a very simple model. Build our community through servant leadership. And so how we provide services is so important. But what is that all for if people can't land on a solid ground via their financial situation? And so I'll end by saying this. I was with an employee this morning, a public works employee. Her name was Joanna. She comes on her shift at 6:30 a.m. I showed up unannounced. She didn't know I was coming. I had on their Dickie outfit, so I was dressed in all black. I had everything on except the chucks. I had to put on some rain shoes because it's raining this morning here in Birmingham. But she's a 13-year employee. She has a rising senior in high school, a daughter, and as around saving for college, around financial literacy, around being able to retire 7 years from now, and all these other things. It's employees like Joanna who Operation Hope and this relationship and partnership is designed for, to make sure there's opportunity for her while she's an employee, while she has a rising senior who wants to go to college, University of South Alabama, and other things she needs to do to make sure her life is good outside of being an employee. That's an example why this relationship and partnership is so important.
Look, thanks for that. Thank you, Nikki, for the wonderful introduction to the mayor. We have a Hope Inside the Workplace in 2 municipalities that I can think of at the moment. City of Memphis, where, of course, Dr. King's life came to an end, for the sanitation workers, fighting for the rights of the sanitation workers in the city who are being paid effectively, poverty wages at that time and no benefits. And he gave his life for the Poor People's Campaign. And I remember Dr. King said, you can't legislate goodness. You cannot pass a law to force someone to respect you. The only way to social justice in a capitalist country is economics and ownership. A quote that very few people remember. And the mayor there, Mayor Strickland, and your colleagues, decided he wanted to do Hope Inside the Workplace to raise the economic vibration up of the employees, all employees, starting with the sanitation workers. And I went and spoke there on the 50th anniversary of the sanitation workers strike there. And then Birmingham, Alabama, of course, one of Dr. King's most famous writings is a letter from Birmingham jail. And in some ways, what he was talking about there, I mean, not some ways, in many ways, it was about, yes, moral certainty and justice, but also economics. What would you say if I said, and now we find ourselves at Hope Inside the Workplace in the city of Birmingham, this historic city in the world now in the US that you're in mayor of. What would you say if I said I thought the civil rights was, or financial literacy, Mr. Mayor, was the civil rights issue of our generation, or at least one of them? And that people like you are in many ways reframing the narrative of what empowerment looks like in the 21st century, certainly on the other side of COVID-19. Do you see this in a historic narrative, or you see it differently?
I do. Well, let me answer the question. The answer is yes. I would say in our time in 2020, where we're living and how hard times are right now, this is definitely when you talk about where social justice was and where social justice is. You can't talk about that without talking about economic justice. And here in a city like Birmingham and across the nation, we need to embrace this simple fact. Our Black community, Black people are behind the curve around financial empowerment and the basics of financial literacy, around how to financially survive. And so this is a situation where you can't be numb to, you can't sit on the sideline and be quiet. You can't hope people one day choose to make better decisions. I'm in a position, as you said, having a platform as mayor. What is my role and responsibility to not only engage the residents I serve, but also to engage our employees who are on the front line, who also happen to be residents, but can use this service as well to be empowered, feel empowered, and make better decisions for themselves, that put themselves in a position to one day be able to pass something to their children and grandchildren.
Yeah, wealth creation,
Absolutely.
home,
Absolutely.
home ownership, et cetera. Yeah, wait, Nikki, you were about to say something?
I was just going to say, so obviously you've demonstrated, Mayor, that you have a heart for the people by partnering with Operation Hope. Like, what do you think? I think partnering with Operation Hope is a confirmation that you care for others. Specifically, you're talking about your employees. So why do you think that bringing Operation Hope to the city of Birmingham was important specifically for your employees?
Well, that's easy, Nikki. Listen, I am a smaller frame, right? So I would be on the skinny end. And I know that I need to be not only emotionally and mentally healthy, but I need to be physically healthy. And in being physically healthy, I needed to get an actual physical trainer, an accountability partner, someone to push me, someone to coach me, someone to give me guidance, and there to make sure that I finish through what I start. All of that, though, I'm going to end where I started, which is holding me accountable and being a partner. I look at that as analogous to Operation Hope, and having someone partnering with the city of Birmingham who can be the financial coach, who can be the financial trainer, who can push and teach us, hold us accountable, engage our employees, and get us in a better shape financially.
Absolutely.
Talking about this crisis is really trying to help curb COVID-19, is trying to hurt or kill our health and our wealth. and you know, when Major America has a headache, Black and brown folks have pneumonia. We're all sick. This morning, my wife, who's a wellness expert, and her father created the 22nd largest Black-owned business in America. She made sure I had this banana when I came down to this interview. Get my potassium in my system, and she got a smoothie waiting for me on the other side of this, because you're right. We got to keep, staying healthy is 80% what you put in your mouth and 20% working out. But and what are we putting out, not our mouth, but our body, our minds, our souls. And again, one of the reasons I really wanted to do this interview with you, Mayor, is I just like what you were consuming in your mind. When I met you, I liked your diet. I liked your mental diet. I liked your intellectual diet. I liked your spiritual diet. I said, this is a bad brother. This only person who will hurt this mayor is himself. If he just stay out of his own way, he's unstoppable. And it's clear to me since that meeting that you're doing exactly that, putting the people first. You just said it, putting your employees first. I was on an interview actually, Tip and I did a call last week, I believe it was, with the SBA, right. And you were featured on that call. 100,000 Black businesses, first time that's ever been done on a phone call in this country. 109,000, I believe, in total. Trying to get them the PPP. Mayor, why'd you do that? Why is that important to you? I mean, why is that relevant to what you do while I eat my banana?
It's all good, brother. Listen, I just shared with your audience that the city of Birmingham is the fourth blackest city in America. And when you have 30% poverty rate and the COVID-19 hits, it not only causes a health crisis, but I think we all can admit that it's also caused an economic and a financial crisis as well. Yeah. Well, that financial and economic crisis is going to hit our small businesses, particularly those that are Black and women, on way harder than any other community in the nation, because we know that many of those businesses right here in my community are anywhere between probably 10 and 14 days of having cash on hand. And so it wasn't just a matter of engaging SBA and how PPP can flow better to these small businesses, but we couldn't wait on the federal government. We couldn't wait on money to come from Congress down to SBA and then flow into our community, because that was way past those 14 days. So locally, we had to act. We engaged the local community here in the private sector, along with our coffers, to jointly raise a little over $2 million, probably about 2.4 million, because we needed to create a bridge before that PPP money was available to get to these Black and brown and women-owned businesses, because so they can survive. Yeah, that's it. It was about survival and health.
So I think about PPP for small businesses. I think about what you're doing with Hope Inside for your employees, Hope Inside the workplace, where you're one of 153 Hope Inside locations in 22 states, but 2 municipalities that have embedded this as models for its employees. I just talked about those 2 cities, yours being one of them that I am personally passionate about modeling in the country. We have a state that's about to come on to model what you're doing, by the way. I can't talk about it at the moment, but the complete state wants to model what you've done in Birmingham for employees. And I want to get back to the services we're providing employees and make a special announcement today just for your employees, by the way. But then I look at qualified opportunity zones that you've also been a leader on. It seems to me you're drawing a vision for Birmingham. Seems to me that these are pieces of a larger pie. What's that vision look like, Mr. Mayor?
Well, before I talk about the vision, I always try to describe the problem that I see. I think about that mother who has a child or grandchild, and she walks out to her front porch. Well, when she looks to the right of her, that lot is an overgrown house. Overgrown lot. And it hasn't been cut in years. When she looks to the left of her, there's an abandoned home that's been there for probably 5-7 years that's possibly burned out. And she pulls out of her driveway. You can tell her street hasn't been paved in quite some time. And she doesn't live in proximity of an actual grocery store. If she wants to walk her child or grandchild down to that neighborhood park, the sidewalk is not only buckling, but by the time she gets to the neighborhood park, it doesn't have adequate playground equipment. And then it's time to come home, but the street light doesn't work. And then she wants to feed that child, but I just told you she doesn't live in proximity of healthy food. And then when it's time for that child to go to bed, they have to drop to the ground because they're gunshots. And in proximity of where they live, the options of eating out, the options of shopping, the options of if there is disposable income for entertainment purposes, those options don't exist. And so the vision is very clear. We have to, when I say build this community up, it is where neighborhood revitalization meets economic revitalization in a city where 88 out of 99 neighborhoods are all Black. We have
Wow.
to put the resources directly in the neighborhoods to not only remove that blighted structure and cut that empty lot, but to engage our land bank to build a single family home back on that lot. We actually have to put resource money into our infrastructure to make that sidewalk walkable, to make that street drivable, to make sure the playground has adequate playground equipment, and we invest in that street light. But you have to do the economics too. And when the economics tie into opportunity zones, we now can say you don't have an excuse of why you can't come into this area and bring an actual grocery store to provide healthy food. Why you can't come into this area and provide other options as it relates to not just places of employment for new employers to be new small businesses, but other options for entertainment. And so our whole notion of investing in opportunity zones for a city where we have 24 of them and it touches 77 of the 99 neighborhoods, we have an opportunity to make economic growth meet neighborhood revitalization. And that is why we are using opportunity zones as an additional tool within the toolbox to jumpstart growth within our neighborhoods and communities.
Did you say 70 plus 79% of your neighborhoods out of 90 something are African American?
I'm gonna get my math right. 88 and 11. 88 out of 99 are all Black.
Wow. Wow. I
88
had no idea.
In Birmingham.
You ground zero as a model for uplift and empowerment for the nation. And my guess is you can take CRA, Community Reinvestment Act, use the power of that with banks. I know Regions, one of our big partners, is located there in your city, and we have a big partnership with them to open 100 open sites. Maybe we can try to target some of those open sites in the neighborhoods, not just in the city with you with the mayor's office. Maybe even do some of that in the neighborhoods. That is a future conversation. So CRA, and I guess the earned income tax credit is also something that the city is using. I know we're going to use that as part of our toolkit with employees. Let me hit real quickly what we're going to do for your employees, and I have a special announcement, and then we're going to do for the residents of Birmingham. So there's some free services we're going to provide to everybody in Birmingham. We're already doing that. We got several offices there. We're going to do more of that. That's financial literacy, free credit counseling, credit score, getting you a credit score and helping you improve it, et cetera. We're raising credit scores 120 points in 24 months, and nothing changes your life more than God and love than moving your credit score 120 points. And every place, Mayor, where you're having problems is probably a 500 credit score neighborhood, where there's a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, next to a liquor store, next to a pawn shop, preying on somebody, irrespective of race, who has a 500 credit score. And that's why I say this issue is now moved from race to class. And we got to make sure that the class doesn't just look like, that the lower class doesn't just look like Black folks. We got to move that up to a green class that looks like all folks, green as in currency. In the city, we're gonna have a concentrated strategy, particularly after COVID, restructuring, helping to modify mortgages so people can focus on their work, negotiate with your landlords. This is the emergency services now that I've added since COVID-19. Negotiate with credit card providers, negotiate with consumer loan providers, negotiate with your child's student loan provider, provide a reset budget, get your credit scores so that you can negotiate, navigate this strange world we find ourselves in. Make sure that that everybody on your staff has gotten CARE Act benefits, including those individual stipend checks. One of the first times in U.S. history, the government is actually giving people stimulus money right in their hands. We'll make sure that everybody gets it. The earned income tax credit for many of your employees qualifies, and every one of them and people in their family should make sure they get these benefits. So everything from a defensive strategy of COVID-19 sort of remodeling their life to an offensive strategy of helping them then to facilitate your vision of becoming homeowners in Birmingham, of having members of their family become small business owners and create a tax base in Birmingham, to become stakeholders, investors. America's going to be on discount after COVID-19. Stocks on discount, real estate on discount, businesses, investment. Black folks should be in a position to ride that economic uplift on the other side of this and build wealth, and not just manage pain, but to build wealth. The Chinese character for crisis is both danger and opportunity. And that's what we're focusing on here. But I want to give you one additional thing. We're gonna, on June 1, in your city, I'm proud to announce, I mentioned it in passing on that call last week, but I'm proud to announce we're gonna have a mini grant program, Mr. Mayor. And for your employees who go through our case management program and modify and restructure their life, but maybe a little bit short on cash, we're gonna give them a cash grant as a City of Memphis employee up to City of Memphis and City of Birmingham employee up to, these are Hope Inside the Workplace models, up to $500. So City of Birmingham, Alabama employees, you get up to $500 of cash grant in addition to everything else we're doing, with no obligation to pay it back, to help you bridge yourself into dignity, so that you can then focus on raising your children, working at the city, providing value for others. No good deed shall go unpunished. We don't really value our public servants. And I want to let your employees know that we're rooting for them. We appreciate them. I appreciate them. Birmingham, Alabama is a model city, and it has a model mayor. And I want them to have dignity-rich employees who feel every day when they walk in that they are, somebody. And I hope that makes you smile this morning.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
Is there
Thank you
anything
so
you
much.
want to? No problem. I know your schedule is tight. We're a few minutes over. Is there anything, Nikki, that as a moderator you want to ask, or Mr. Mayor, you want to add before we wrap this up? Nikki.
There's one thing.
Nikki, I'll let you first.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. First, I do want to just say, and I noticed this on the SBA call, and John referenced it a minute ago, but you stuck out on that call because you are very intentional about what it is that you're doing from a resource and recovery plan. So I just want to thank you for that, especially addressing minorities and specifically women, which I am both, right? But one of the things, sometimes these conversations get so big. And I would love for both of you, starting with the mayor, I would love for you just to sort of recap what the services are during COVID-19, because I think that's really important. So what are the services, and what is this partnership with Operation Hope? How does that impact your employees? What are the services that they can take advantage of specifically? And then sort of, speak more to, which John already talked about somewhat, but I just kind of want to recap that so we make sure that they know what the services are, why you want them to take advantage of them now during the pandemic.
Right. Well, for our community partners, just please visit bhamstrong.com to learn more about how we're assisting our community with the COVID issue. Again, that's bhamstrong.com. But as it relates to Operation Hope, it is very simple. For our employees, it's not just financial literacy as a big bucket, but when you drill down and you step into that bucket, what is that? It's all type of help around how do you engage if your child wants to go to college and saving for tuition. How do you engage your credit score and credit recovery? How do you engage your own budget? And how do you engage in so many things dealing with the one-on-ones and the blocking and tackling of financial literacy for our employees? And so for every city employee that can hear the sound of my voice, as a partner with you serving this community, take advantage of this. I probably need to eat my own humble pie and engage you and let you know I'm willing to walk with you. And John, I need to sign up for the service too, brother, as mayor, because nothing about my score is perfect. So
I'm a client. I'm a client, and my people oftentimes will find errors on my own credit report So I encourage that. I talked to Susan Taylor last night, legendary, iconic person, Essence Magazine. She's involved with our work. Roland Martin, a lot of notables are themselves clients of Operation Hope, and we've gotten them their PPP for their businesses and nonprofits and groups as well. And we can help your residents, by the way, also, and business owners get their PPP with we don't charge a fee for it. And so, yeah, I appreciate your, role modeling in first person. You walk your talk, as I said earlier.
Well, Nikki, of course, that's the short version. I want to yield my time to John, who's been kind enough, not only with his words, but his actions in our community. So thank you all. And thank you, Operation Hope.
No, look, let's close here by me starting or ending where I started. First of all, if you're in Birmingham, Alabama, and you want our services, it's 888-388-HOPE, or go online to operationhope.org, or go to the Hope in Hand app on the Android or the Apple Store. If you're a City of Birmingham employee, we have Damien and a whole team there who are ready to help you. The services are free 99, free 99. There's no cost. The city and our partners have removed that burden for you. It's all confidential. We have 22 federal government credentials, including HUD certification, et cetera. And you need to take your life back right now. This is from civil rights to civil rights. And you need to take your life back right now. And I'll end with this. Every day, Mr. Mayor, I remember the name of my best friend who was killed when I was 9 years old, because no one else remembers his name. In Compton, California, South Central LA. I remember all the folks who came before me that don't have a voice. The world's forgotten about them. They didn't become a mayor or a CEO or capitalist or employee, or they had no record. They've been lost to history. And I'm their reminder. I'm their self-appointed reminder. I see you as a self-appointed reminder for your family, and for your block, and for your community. My guess is you remember people who are lost close to you every day that you do this work. And that's part of what fires you up to be on point and on purpose and deliver results. And I just want to thank you for what you do, and more importantly, how you do it.
Appreciate you, brother. It means a lot.
All right. Peace and light. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and check out this man and follow him. He's doing good work, and he's not a black mayor. He's a great mayor who happens to be black. That's even better. Peace and light.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Nikki.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.